I mean, come on, who doesn't like fried chicken? But we're going to make baked fried chicken, oven fried chicken. Your family will love it. We're going to cut a lot of the fat and calories out, and we're going to bread it using actually corn flakes. And wait till you see how wonderful and crispy it turns out. In fact, I'm just going to go give it a quick peek. Wow, does that look good? Okay, so let's get to what's going to make this oven fried chicken so great. First of all, we've got the glue. And the glue in this case is reduced fat sour cream. And I have to tell you, I'm really skeptical about using a lot of the non-fat products, dairy products. But reduced fat in dips and things like this is going to be, you know, instead of deep frying it, this is going to have the breading stick to this, help the breading stick to it. This stuff is great. So we've got one container, about 2 cups, 16-ounce container of reduced fat sour cream. You're not even going to know the difference. A lot of the light products have really come a long way, and they're delicious. Now, when we were testing this recipe, we found that this was a little bit sticky and gloppity, so you don't have to, but we thought we'd add a little bit of skim milk to this, or you could do a little bit of water. It just makes the dredging process a little bit easier, just a tablespoon or 2. But again, the recipe, you can use the straight up reduced fat sour cream. Okay, now we got to add some flavor, you know, because that's the big thing. When you're taking out fat and calories and you're not deep frying things, you don't want to skip out on, you got to add flavor. So garlic, we've got about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic, and I'm going to use the real stuff here. So just chop it up. If you have one of those great garlic presses and you like to use one of those, that's fine too. It smells wonderful. Nothing like fresh garlic. So I'm going to get that right there. That goes right into the sour cream mixture. So just garlic, sour cream, and we threw in just a little bit of milk. You don't have to. Just whisk that together. So that's breading station number 1. Now when it comes to breading anything, you need to be organized, or else your kitchen is going to be a disaster. Been there, done that. And so it's really great to get all your ingredients ready, kind of set up a breading station. So that's what we've done here. Okay, so we've got our wet mixture, and you always have the wet and the dry when it comes to breading. Now, as far as the dry goes, we want this oven-baked chicken to be really nice and crispy, right? So we're going to use corn flakes, just the stuff you eat for breakfast. And we need about 4 cups of crushed corn flakes. I'm just going to open the bag here. And you could certainly crush these by hand with a rolling pin in a Ziploc bag, but I'm going to just take the easy way out. And I'm going to do this in the food processor. Just kind of eyeball it. Get that going. I like it a little crispier, so I'm going to leave it a little bit chunky. I want to actually see a few of those flakes. So this is going into breading station number 2 here, those corn flakes. And now we really need to season those. Again, whenever you're cooking healthy, you need to use seasonings and things like that to get the flavor. So we're using some garlic powder. We're using some rosemary. We're using some sage. Sage can be very strong in flavor, so if you're not a big fan of that, you can back off on that. That's usually what you find in, you know, the stuffing at Thanksgiving. A little bit of salt and some black pepper. So there you go. Really season that up well. And you can throw in whatever seasonings you like. If you like a little heat, by all means add some, you know, a little bit of cayenne pepper would be great. Maybe some red pepper flakes. Okay, so that's breading station number 2. Now we're ready to start breading. So I'm going to get rid of my cutting board, and we're going to go to town. Now, if you want it really nice and crispy, we actually used a rack to bake our chicken in the oven. So if you have one of those baking racks, to sit that right on top of the chicken on top of that really gets it nice and crispy. But if you don't have one of those, it's still going to be crispy and wonderful. So just make sure to spray your pan. We've lined our cookie sheet with foil. We want plenty of room for this chicken. We don't want it on top of each other. We want to get it really crispy. So key to that is preheat your oven to a nice high temperature, at least 375. If your oven doesn't really crank it, doesn't really get real hot, you might want to, we did it here up to about 425. We don't want it to hang out and kind of do a slow thing in the oven. We want it to crisp right up. So crank up that oven temperature, and let's start the whole process here. And you can use whatever kind. You can do boneless breasts. Of course, then you're not going to cook it near as long. You could use, we're going to use like the family fryer pack. You can do legs and breasts, whatever your family likes. So just kind of roll this in, and this is a sticky mess, but it all is going to be wonderful. And then roll it into the cornflakes and onto the greased cookie sheet, and just keep going. I had one of the Packer wives over to my house to make fried chicken. She's just a great Southern cook, Candy Clifton, and just a doll. Candy, if you're watching, I want to come cook with you again. Does great Southern recipes, but we made fried chicken the real way, and yes, it was amazing. But when you're frying chicken in the oil, try and get that smell out of your house. You know what I'm talking about. So I love fried chicken, but I don't like the mess and the frying and all that kind of stuff that comes with it. So this oven-baked chicken, once you start doing this, man, it rocks. And I don't see any reason why you couldn't do the same breading process with fish, using the cornflakes and rolling it in the low-fat sour cream. So just keep going. You get the idea. I'll do one more leg here. Bob likes chicken legs, so got to have those for him. The rest of the family does the white meat. All right. Kids love fried chicken. Everybody loves fried chicken. And this is just kind of the way to satisfy everybody and do it a little more healthy. Okay, so at this point, we're going to get rid of all this stuff. Get this into, again, your preheated oven. And you're going to bake this for 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how much chicken you're doing. Depending on your oven temperature, just want to make sure that chicken is done and those juices run clear. Got to be real careful, with chicken. Serve this with potato salad or mashed potatoes. You can make those mashed potatoes with chicken broth, which is what I do a lot. It really cuts back on the calories and the fat. My personal trainer's over here, and hopefully she's smiling, Lindsay. She's Miss Healthy. So she'll always say, "What'd you make on the show today?" And I'll say, "Mississippi mud pie," or something like that, and she'll give me that look. You know that look I'm talking about. But Lindsay, we're getting healthy for you today. All right, check out this chicken. Wow. This makes me happy. Look at this. Now this rack really, really made it crispy. So if you do have one of these racks that you would, like metal racks that you would cool cookies on, just pop it right over the cookie sheet like we did here, and look at this. I mean, this is crispy and wonderful and juicy, and wow. Makes me happy. None of the mess of deep frying and all of the crunchiness and all that kind of good stuff. So there you go. I think you're going to love this recipe. I think your family will too. Oven fried chicken. It's really good. I got to dig in and have myself a piece. Hey, today's show is all about getting healthy.